Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Launch Codes Football. My name is Chris W,
I'm Chris P.
and today we are going to have a fun little array of topics. You will notice that Chelsea is unfortunately not able to be here again, so it looks like it's just the Chris and Chris podcast right now. But I'm kidding, Chelsea. We completely joke. Um, no, she just wasn't able to make it, but it's all good. We're still gonna make a good episode out of today. How are you feeling today, Chris?
Oh, I'm feeling great. We have some exciting news.
Dude, the NFL was a content machine this week. Like they gave us so much good stuff. It's not even funny.
And it wasn't just for, like a random team. It was the team that, you know, I keep somehow ripping on.
Every week you find a new reason, and you know what? Every week they keep giving you new reasons.
I
Um,
think they listen, to be
I
honest.
I swear they do. Anyways, we'll get right to it. So the first thing we got to talk about, and again, we have another presentation made by Mr. Chris P here. So everyone watching the YouTube, yeah, you'll get to see a little visual treat here. So yeah, the first thing we got, let's talk about how the Steelers finally fire Matt Canada. Canada is gone, and all of a sudden, the next game they have like 400 plus yards of offense. Uh, what's up with that, Chris?
And I like I said, I think offensive coordinators play out a lot unless you're the head coach, but we'll we'll get to that. But I mean, I have Najee Harris, and I sat him on the bench thinking like, oh no, he's not going to do well. He's going to be terrible, And then I just see him pop off with the 99 yards and a touchdown. Of course, Kenny Pickett just gets yards, of course, but
Yeah,
I mean, somehow they pulled it off. I don't know how they keep doing it. I keep telling some of my friends who are Steeler fans, like, I think your defense is carrying, but now your offense is kind of functioning. So,
I mean the defense still carrying. Let's just
oh
admit
yeah,
they only gave up 10 points. Like that's still
okay.
carrying in my eyes.
But to be fair, Joe Burrow's not here.
True, but look, Jake Browning didn't do bad. 19 of 26, 227 yards, a touchdown, one pick. I mean, that's not bad, right? His running back Joe Mixon did nothing to help him. Jamar Chase was okay, but
Just
man,
okay, just four receiving receptions and 81 yards. Just
yeah,
okay.
just okay, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was, but yeah, I mean, not a bad day for Jake Browning, but against that defense, it's going to be rough for anyone. I honestly think the Bengals are probably just done for the year. Like, you know, I, they'll get him next year.
I mean, if you actually sit down Joe Burrow and let him rest and actually take time to recuperate, I think you have a potential Super Bowl team.
Hmm.
But with him playing injured and forcing him to play, I know he's saying that, oh, this was a different injury and playing it off. But I'm like I am saying, like he has not been himself, and it's showed on the first game to his last game. So it's it is an interesting how the Bengals came from being the best to dropping like a rock, you know?
I mean, they were starting to pick it back up, but
Yeah.
they they did what they did last year. They started out slow and then just slowly started making a comeback. They looked like a legit team, not too long ago. And then that Thursday night game, man, every time I swear Thursday night games, like they always just do so much bad. Like no one's ever happy after a Thursday night game, I swear.
Oh, we've had electrifying Thursday night games. What are you talking about? We had the Panthers and Bears
Dude,
one night, which was great and so much fun to watch. I know I turned it off on the first minute. Um, I mean, what to expect? So,
yeah. Well, we just wanted to talk about this quickly here. And just wanted to point out that I think it's really interesting. Pittsburgh got what they want. Still not many points, but you know, 16 is better than like the three that they were scoring beforehand. So,
I mean, to be fair, the Steelers, they're they're using Warren and Najee Harris,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to pound it down the middle, and we're just going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll throw it out there. Pickett is, I know for Steelers fans, either you love him or you hate him. Well, right
Yeah.
now I don't love him, so uh,
Dang. Even after
but
this week, he looked better.
he looked better with 278 yards, nothing else.
And look, that guy Pat Freiermuth, I'm sorry, I've never heard of him, but 9 catches, 120 yards, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good for no touchdowns, but
Dang,
um
bro, come on.
I mean, it's great for receptions, but you gotta score. That stats here doesn't tell you, oh well, they had to punt the ball after 40 yards. I'm just saying, and it's 9 receptions. So I'm just saying,
All right.
it Pickett's gotta throw some sort of touchdowns. Like, if you want to keep your job, I know this is not the Panthers, but if you want to keep your job, you might want to pick it up. Get it? Pick it.
He got him. He got him. All right. Well, next thing we wanted to talk about, this is a little bit of controversy. So, Chris, you want to explain a little bit of what's going on here?
Yeah, so the Dolphins obviously have electrifying offense and going before the game. Um, Tyreek Hill knows this college cameraman that he records for the NFL. He's hired by the NFL
Photography,
and
yeah.
for oh yeah, photography.
Hmm.
And so, Tyreek Hill, just like at the Chiefs, he likes to show off, do celebrations. I thought they would incorporate more of a celebration since Super Bowls and stuff like that. They want to show off more. So Tyreek Hill, of course, scores and he runs out of the end zone, kind of in the back of where like the field goal is, and is just, kind of like partying. And he sees his friend, who's this cameraman, and of course, the policy is you're not supposed to allow equipment or allow, these players to take these equipment and use it. And so essentially he reached out, and since he knew the friend, he kind of like grabbed the camera in a way.
Hmm.
And now there's controversy like, did he give it away freely? Did he, like
Hmm.
try to say, hey, no? And I understand it. Is his NFL player? He's your friend, and he basically uses the camera to basically do the celebration.
Mm.
And at the end of it, he got a penalty. Tyreek Hill got a penalty, but the gist of it all, like this cameraman actually got banned from the NFL, and they're stating that he is banned for the season and could potentially for his whole entire career, which is really, really sad for
Hmm.
someone whose dream is to do media,
Hmm.
especially in the NFL, one of the highest platforms out there in America, to say, hey, no, you're not doing this anymore because you violated this. Now, he didn't cost them millions of dollars. He didn't cost them billions of dollars. He probably has more media around this than ever
Hmm.
because of the celebration.
Yep.
Now, the NFL, I think it's a bit harsh. Now, if it was hurting your reputation, I understand you have to enforce the rules and stuff like that. But he's just a college kid, you know? So
Yeah.
we all make mistakes, but the NFL seems to say this was a big enough mistake. So
The
that's kind of what the situation happened.
the crazy part is the NFL UK used the footage in like a promo video. They used the footage that the kid took, or like the stuff for promo. They deleted it. But still, I'm like, so they basically, this thing happens. They ban the kid for the season for and potentially worse, like potentially his whole career. Um, and they also, and then they use the footage in promo. That's crazy, right? Like, I don't get it. I understand they don't want players just starting to take props and maybe do crazy things, but I feel like just if that becomes a problem, just ban or fine the players when they do stuff like that. Don't ban the cameraman because Tyreek Hill comes up to you. I'm sorry, half of the NFL people who probably made the decision to ban the kid would have done the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I think this is crazy. It makes no sense. Hopefully, because this is getting a lot of notoriety, I mean, there's articles coming out about it. His video, the kid's video that he posted is going viral. Um, like I'm glad he posted it because like that stuff is messed up. Because what if this has happened to other people,
Yeah.
but they just don't have that kind of video platform to talk about it or to get exposed. Tyreek Hill said on his Twitter that he would say something about it, but he would probably get fined for it. And which is pretty true. I mean, they honestly fine people for some crazy things. Like
No, it's terrible.
I don't get it. I'm like I swear it's like they just want to. I think they just want to take money. I swear that's what it is, because some
Now
of it's
their
crazy.
fines are like a slap on the wrist, to be honest. It's like a pushback. There's like $5,000 fines. It could
Yeah.
be to $1 million. But really, let's just say certain players that are getting fined, that's not that much compared to their game check. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say Tyreek Hill, I hope he hires this kid, maybe give him a future career. I don't know, but this in a way, if NFL does this, I think it is harsh for one, and two, I think it leaves a bad taste for future media people that really want to go into this sort of career. And to
Mm-hmm.
know, I understand you have to be professional and you have to be strict about it, and this is a a business place, a business where they want to work and you want to show off, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not other people's faults if the guys are throwing balls at people. Are you going to find people like literally? And don't get me wrong, Mike Evans, if you don't know, this past weekend he gave away 2 NFL balls, and
Yeah.
it's like, are you finding Mike Evans when he gives that away a ball? Are you finding the person who takes it? Technically, that's the NFL property. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
Cam used to do it all the time. He used to hand out the footballs every touchdown. They didn't fine him for it though. I don't
And that's the
think.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Then you have fans that are crowding up into the front, are being rude and just trying to get a ball. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're going to be strict, then you're gonna have to be strict on other things rather than crack down on and blame someone else for an NFL player's fault.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to say that, but you 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 can't slap one and leave the other.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, you got if I was in the NFL, I would make him apologize and then leave it as and let the cameraman, hey, don't do this ever again. You've been
Yeah.
warned. Let's keep moving on.
Yeah. Like I don't understand like punishing the cameraman in this case. Finding Tyreek. All right. I mean, I still think it's annoying because it's, not a big deal, but like truthfully, it's not. I know they hate hearing that. But I think he got fined. Remember when he took the camera in Kansas City? Like,
Yeah.
but I think they've used that in their own promotions too.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, you're finding players for this stuff and then like you're also promoting it on TV. You're like, look how fun we are. Like, get out of here. Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's a double standard.
it definitely is. And so, but honestly, if you just would have fined Tyreek even, I don't think anyone would have cared. They would have been like, all right, fine. But banning this kid for the entire state, like potentially his whole career is another level of crazy.
You might as well just ban all the CEOs out there.
And
They're loud
also,
and obnoxious.
look, let's talk about this. They're gonna sit here and ban this kid for the entire like season, right? Potentially more. There were Bills players last night saying, or the other night saying, that fans in Philly were giving them and their families death threats while they were like sitting on the bench. Yet,
Oh no.
not gonna
No,
do anything about that. Yeah.
it's terrible. And okay, you maybe think about this. You maybe think about
Oh
this. I don't
no.
I don't have an actual scene for those who are on YouTube, but if you look it up, there are literally Philadelphia Eagles fans harassing Vikings fans as they're going up to the stupid game. And the NFL refuses to do anything about that. Like, literally, someone has been assaulted last year in a Cowboys versus Eagles game, and a Eagles fan assaulted a Cowboys fan who, by the way, got $770K for a lawsuit, by the way. But that being said, there's talk about Cowboys fans are worse than Philly fans. Well, the worst thing, and those who are Cowboys fans right now, you're all talk, but look at your season. I hope you get to the Super Bowl. I hope you win one. But every single time you enter there into the playoff, you always seem to get eliminated by a stupid bad team. I don't know how. I don't know where. I'm kind of rooting for you, but you always disappoint me at the end. So I'm sick and
Dang.
tired of it. But by the way, I feel like Eagles fans, I know you're proud of your team, but you boo your team whenever they go down or do something stupid, and then you start booing them. So this is like the most toxic, like fan base out there. They literally eat poop off of the road. Like, you cannot say, I've never had any other fans say, oh, the Cowboy fans, they're eating poop. Literally, there are horses down there, and I'm not kidding. Why aren't they doing that? Why don't I see an article like that? If you literally look up Eagles fans, it comes up with the most toxic things that Eagles fans have. It is terrible. I literally saw a kid go up to a Bills fan and literally flip, like a little kid, go up to a dude and flip him off. Like, that is terrible. Like, I understand like the competitiveness. I understand like the Eagles fans, but there's kindness and just being sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Sportsmanship it's gone for Eagles fans. They either riot, burn down the city if they don't win the Super Bowl, or if they win the Super Bowl. So those who are Eagles fans and they're saying, "Oh no, we're a good city," look at your city, man. Literally, I remember watching a Twitter account. It was an NBA player that had a game in Philly the next day, and he literally took a video and said, y'all be quiet outside, y'all lost the Super Bowl, stop rioting. And literally he took a video outside of his hotel, and literally people were like rioting out in front of him because of course the Eagles lost to the Chiefs. And so I'm like, I understand like people are upset, but that's the thing. Most Super Bowl fans, or most fans who lost in the Super Bowl, they don't go out and riot and burn down a city. I'm just saying. I've only seen the Philadelphia Eagles fans do that. So, that being said, I think we can put the Eagles fans as the worst, most toxic fan base out there. And the second is the Cowboys.
Dang. I mean, I can see it. Look, I would say maybe Philly is just the closest to as we look at it, like around the world, soccer fans who literally start fires in their arenas and stuff. Maybe we can look at it like that. They're just the closest. Um, Shout out to the 2 week soccer war that happened years ago.
Hey,
So I I mean, let us know what you guys think, because it is an interesting debate. Everyone they hate Patriot fans, they hate Dallas fans. And Eagle fans are also very well hated as well. They also hate everything around them. Um, but so let us know, who do you guys think are the most obnoxious fans? I feel like it used to be back in the day. Remember the Seahawks fans? Like how all of a
no, it was
sudden
Cowboys. It was still Cowboys back
it
in the
was still
day.
Cowboys, but like remember when the Seahawks really popped off? Like all of a sudden everyone was a Seahawks fan. You're like, you don't have any relation to Seattle, Washington, whatever. Why are you all of a sudden a
Okay,
Seahawks fan? But
but it's Marshawn Lynch. Like, you, it's Skittle time, man. Like, that is a great trademark. He leaves Skittles on the ground, after the game. He eats Skittles on the sideline. Like, that's the sugar rush, man. Like, people jumped on that. So, I mean, you have to admit, there's never been a running back that used Skittles to motivate himself. Like, That's pretty interesting.
Why don't they all do that?
Well, most of them have some sort of rap sheet, like Cream Hunt, that sort of rap sheet,
Oh,
or
yeah. That's
Adrian Peterson,
Oh
or
gosh, dude. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get us like on the
no,
let's talk about all the hot
I'm
topics, the
I'm just
controversial people today? Let's start
I'm just
talking
saying.
what, Antonio Brown, go next.
He did strip off everything and basically flip everyone off when he left. So,
he
I mean, people keep telling me Antonio Brown also needs to go to the Chiefs for some reason, and he will never ever play another game. That boy, he needs some help,
if he
medical
did
help.
play, he would be good.
Oh,
Like if he was on the field.
yeah, and then him and Taylor Swift would get into it, and then he would do it again, and then Taylor Swift would then have more ammo to make more songs about this sort of cheap sort
Oh
of ordeal.
gosh.
And then, think about it. I think it's all a big plot. It's a big pyramid scheme for the Chiefs. They get big iconic artist star to date uh, a tight end Super Bowl champ that will be in the Hall of Fame one day, and literally it's all a money scheme. They're rocking it all out. It doesn't matter if they don't go to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying it. If they choke even in the first game of the playoffs, they're making money. Like they might be doubling what their income was last year. Just
True.
saying.
I mean,
So it's a pyramid scheme.
it's
But
all
we're going
pyramid.
off topic.
Yeah,
I'm
we're way
sorry.
off topic. Rip to this kid. Hopefully he doesn't get banned anymore. Um,
But moving on.
oh, we've got the juicy one today.
It's the Panthers' fault. And that being said, uh
This man right here has caused a stir in even the mainstream media is um talking about the Panthers this week. So for those of you who don't follow football, I guess, or anything, um because this has been talked about on ESPN, Fox, all of them. Everyone's put their take in. David Tepper has fired Frank Reich, whom he just hired back in January. This actually makes Frank Reich the first coach to ever get fired in the middle of the season in back-to-back seasons.
I
Um,
mean he kind of deserved it, but I won't say much.
okay, I'll say this. I don't think okay, so there's a couple of different perspectives on this. I don't think firing him really fixes anything. If
Oh, it
anything,
does.
well, I don't think they're gonna get better off of
Oh
firing him.
no. No.
That's what I mean. It doesn't make it like the team's not gonna get better because you fire him. And honestly, all you're doing is, which by the way, I learned today, when coaches sign for a contract, all their money is guaranteed. So Frank Reich is walking away with 20 million for doing absolutely nothing now because like he still had 20 million left on his
Oh,
contract. This is a great retirement gift, man.
but
Like,
Tepper's paying for it.
yeah, Tepper's paying for it out of pocket. Um, he's actually paying for two coaches now. He's
Correct.
still paying for Matt Rule, who's coaching at college in Nebraska,
And
and
also he sued him.
it's crazy. I I really think that I think the only thing is this could look bad. Like if you're a coach looking for a place to, be the head coach and you see that this guy is just willing to fire you at like any moment. He's fired three coaches now. He fired Ron Rivera in the middle, and they've all three been in the middle of the season, which is crazy. Ron Rivera, Matt Rule, and now Frank Reich. Um, this so that's where I'm kind of like, is it gonna make Carolina? Does it make him look like just a really bad boss?
Yes. I'm kidding. Personally, I don't think so. So Matt Rule, his rule of reign was
He was two and a
broken.
half years. That one's not
Yes,
a big
two and a
deal to
half
me.
years was not too bad. Frank Reich. Okay, the reason why I believe, and this is something I've got actually kind of been pushing, that Frank Reich needs to be fired.
You've
I've been
been pushing
saying
it since game 6, bro.
I've been saying it since the middle of the season, and literally, I was so happy when I saw this. I was like,
That's so
"Oh,
sad. Why?
I'm sorry, but Frank Reich literally wouldn't let his offensive coordinator call plays until game 6. So literally, I mean, I don't. Why have an offensive coordinator when he's just going to sit there and look pretty, right? We're paying
Hmm.
the man, so make him do his job. I don't pay workers to sit around and stare at the work. So that being said, Tepper, I think he fired Frank for 2 reasons. One, of course, is not having a good season,
Hmm.
and we're having a rough season that as is, and we are stuck now with Bryce Young, and um we will be stuck with them for a good couple of years now. It is no matter what. Two, Frank Reich was also fired because of his play style and also with his sort of rule over his staff. I believe that since he did not allow his offensive coordinator to actually coordinate and do things, and he called the plays because he didn't feel he wanted his offensive coordinator to feel comfortable and be feel prepared, you know. But why wait that long, right?
Hmm.
So, and I really, and this is something that's terrible. Tepper, his playbook would just run down the middle and hope for the best and use Miles Sanders as a battering ram who got bounced off by all the defensive tackles. So that being said, I think it was justified. It was something that I
Yeah,
hope for,
that's
and
fair.
I hope for the next coach. I hope he has wisdom, and I hope it gives coaches fire under them to know we want to see results. We don't want someone to be laid back and say, not laid back. We don't want anyone to come in with the mindset of let me control the team and I'm going to control the offense and defense and call all the plays. And ultimately, that if you're going to take that responsibility, you're going to have to take the full brunt of the punishment at the end. So at the end, I think Frank Reich, he didn't show results. So
Yeah.
we want a coach, and I really think we should vie for Bieniemy. I would love to actually pay the actually trade for him in when after the season ends, and then pay him the bag as the head coach. Uh,
Mm.
the reason why is, I mean, look at Sam Howell.
Yeah.
Look, he's had rough games, he's had good games, but Washington Commanders, don't get me wrong, but they haven't been the best of the best. And Sam Howell, he might be a good player, but he also has a good offensive coordinator, you know, and we're not giving shots. And personally, I know he is, and this is a a political race thing, but I know Bieniemy is black, and I know our past defensive um interim head coach was also black and was really done well. But I really think just Tepper, I hope he isn't that way. I really hope he isn't that way of hiring a ethnic minority as a head coach. I think that would be great for the Panthers, great to rally behind the fan base, and I honestly think Bieniemy would be the solution. You know, I I really missed our interim head coach a lot. He really did well. He had a comeback of the season, and we just let him go, which I think was a terrible, terrible idea. He
Yeah.
showed results, and if Tepper wants results, he showed it, but Tepper didn't want him. So we'll go from there.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing is crazy, and honestly, Tepper's getting a lot of heat, and it's deserved. I mean, he chooses the people. Um, and also he's getting a lot of heat this week because he hosted a press conference, which is where these quotes are from. Um, to give a little bit of context of why this press conference was so controversial and created so much heat was because, this press conference was supposed to be, we all thought, him explaining himself. It's the first time he's spoken in 6 months, um, basically since he had hired Frank Reich, it has been a long time since he's spoken. He doesn't speak much to the media. But when he does, he spoke after Matt Rule's firing and was up there a solid 30 minutes, like having back and forths with reporters. 30 minutes in a press conference, that's a pretty long time, honestly. Um, but the weird thing about this press conference was it was 10 minutes supposed to be, and his people cut it off. Like you could hear it. If you even watch the video, you can hear his people and them calling on people. And then at the 10-minute mark, or I think it's like 8 to 9 minutes into the video, you just see him say, "All right, this is going to be my last question." And then he answers it. And then he's about to walk off. And then like somebody barely fits in a question like about Bryce Young. They barely get it in. And then he goes on for another 3 minutes answering the question. All in all, about 6 questions were answered when he was asked about um, what, and the crazy part of this is, right? So he basically did not talk about the Panthers in this. Like he talked about
Hmm.
them somewhat. Man started ranting on how he's brought concerts and Messi to Bank of America. And that's crazy to me. I'm like, what? Like nobody cares. This is a Panthers press conference. Yeah, great job. You did bring Beyonce. He didn't bring Taylor Swift though. He only
Oh,
Beyonce is good, but couldn't bring her, you
you
know.
know what the best part is?
Mm,
He claims credit of bringing Messi, but the thing is, those 2 games scheduled with Miami was already pre-scheduled already. There
mm-hmm.
was no talk about Messi coming over. His tickets were literally $20 to $40 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
When Messi came to the league, right? It was the prices skyrocketed. Bad seats skyrocketed to 150.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
for him to say that like I'm bringing this, it's like you're bringing in money for you. That's the thing. You're
Yeah.
bringing in money for yourself. Yes, you're bringing all this attention and stuff like that, but you're making money.
Yeah. And I like, you know, I just think that in this press conference, especially when they were going to cut it at 10 minutes, why are they even talking about that stuff? It doesn't matter. But when he was asked, about why, he basically, like, why he fired Frank Reich, he said, "We fired him. I'll leave that up to you guys to speculate." What? That was the whole point of this whole conference. Why are you even doing this if you're just going to go up here and say, he also said things like, "The process is the process." What?
Mhm.
What is this man talking about? Like, so we have a couple of quotes here, though. And Chris, would you like to go through a couple of them we've got on the slides here?
Sure. The first one, he was basically like talked about the game and basically how what his mindset is since Tepper, if you don't quite know, he's very spontaneous. We'll just say he has a trait for that. And then he basically just says, I do have patience. My reputation away from this game is one of extreme patience, you know, and which is kind of funny because
Yeah.
he seems to pull things real fast and he seems to be very excited at first. And then the next week, he's like, nope, nope.
I mean,
So,
did you see the post about him last week after they lost, or this past week when they lost the Titans? He was apparently heard in one of the reporters for the Panthers said you could hear him screaming in the locker room, just like when they lost, just a massive loud F word. Like he was so upset. Which I mean, that part being upset is fine, but to say you have extreme patience after you have fired more coaches than the Steelers have in their entire existence as a franchise since the what 60s? That's
mhm.
crazy to me. That is a bold take.
And I think it's kind of interesting because, don't get me wrong, the Commanders, when Ron Rivera went over, he didn't have the best start. Like, don't get me wrong.
No.
Like the Commanders have come a long way, from losing games and being kind of the laughing stock for a little or just a little bit. Not as bad as the Jets, not as bad as the Jets,
That's
but or the
yeah.
Giants, but the Commanders, after the rebranding from Redskins to the Commanders and all that, like,
Hmm.
he's come a long way, and for him to stick with that team, I think has proven a lot. But I think he was very impulsive in getting Frank Reich. I'll tell you that.
Hmm. Well, he went the opposite way. He went from I'm gonna hire like, a college coach here to he gave Frank basically a budget, a big budget apparently, and said, hire every veteran NFL coach you can think of. Like I want the most, which is fine. Like originally I was like, okay, I'm on board with that. But I the problem is this coaching staff doesn't know how to use the players that they've got. Like there's been some turnover and there's been some injury, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the offensive line are the same and all of a sudden they've regressed hard, which by the way, they fired a few assistant coaches and stuff, but the offensive line coach, the worst part of the team, still he's not gone. He's still there. That's crazy to me. I'm like I don't get what they're doing, but
It's called
anyways, yeah.
throwing. We're trying to let the Bears have the first pick.
I swear, I think the Bears have something good in it for Tepper or something, because like they just the amount of throwing happening here is
I,
crazy.
I mean, the Bears even won, so they're like they're happy in getting the first pick.
Exactly. They have no fear in tank. They don't have to tank. We're doing it for them.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, I mean, and then Tepper also went on to say like he would like to have someone coach here for 20 to 30 years. I would like to have somebody that would say my eulogy in 30 years. Which I mean, maybe he's just being a little cheeky, a little funny. That doesn't matter to me, but I think that like to say just the first two quotes after you've fired coaches just like that so quickly, that's kind of crazy. I mean, I do think, okay, I will say Matt Rule was given a decent amount of time in my eyes. I don't think the firing of him was quick, but Ron Rivera was definitely quick, and this one is very quick. Um, and then also they barely fit it in. I think this was the one that barely got in.
Hmm.
He was about to walk away without talking about this. He said, they asked him about Bryce Young and, basically how are they feeling about it considering the way CJ Stroud has played, and he said, as far as Bryce Young is concerned, for myself and I think everybody in this building would share this sentiment, we're totally confident in that pick, Tepper said. And for me, I'm totally confident in agreeing with that pick. Um, he also said in some other quote that, um, they asked him about the whole rumors of Reich wanting Stroud, him wanting Bryce, and he said the whole staff and everybody wanted Bryce. Like they said that was the agreed number one pick. They also said they were considering just trading up to get the second pick and not the first. So they were trying to get Houston's. I don't know, man. This was a whole mess. And it just doesn't like ever just if when you listen to this press conference, it's like a word salad half the time. Like some of it doesn't make any sense from what you just see, which I've been taught and told, don't pay attention to what coaches, owners say in their press conferences, only pay attention to what they do. I'm like, yeah, true. Coach will be like, we're going to run the ball a lot next game, and then runs it 5 times in a game. It's crazy to me. So I don't know. This whole thing was weird, messy, pissed off some of the reporters because apparently some of them were deliberately ignored. Um, I don't even know what the point of this was. It would have literally been better PR to not do it and just not say anything. You don't have to. What are they going to do? Fire you? You're the owner.
It was not planned well. It was I would say in a way it's very impulsive to prepare, not even I say prepare, to have this press conference. I understand it's big news. You fired your coach and everything, and you have to say something. You have to say why. And I think he went in the mindset of trying to save face. He's embarrassed.
He is embarrassed.
He's embarrassed of people booing his team of he who he has put millions of dollars in, and he's hired $20 million to a coach that he's still paying, and that's not on the team anymore. He is frustrated in having a losing record every single year and being a
Mm-hmm.
laughing stock.
Yeah.
He is tired of being a winless team that, this team made it to the Super Bowl just so that they can just throw away the ball and let, Cam Newton stare at the ball. But at the end of the day, Tepper is tired. He is tired of losing, and he is tired. And I would be, if I was the owner, seeing my business literally crumble and see how the fans, I hate to say this, but there might be more away fans at the Panther Stadium than the actual Panthers there. That's how terrible it is. And so Tepper, I understand he's trying to save face. He puts confidence in Bryce Young, but the thing is, he's just, for me, he's just saying it to save face and to have confidence.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, Frank Reich, I think you kept Bryce Young in there way too long to cook. I think he's overdone, and I
Mm.
think he needed time. You might have scared him silly. Bryce Young, I think he might need some time to develop on the bench and watch how Andy Dalton plays. There were times when Andy Dalton has commanded the offense and did well. Kind of like if he does well in the first half, let Bryce Young come in the second half and say, this is what Andy Dalton did in the first half. Go out there. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a reason Tepper fired Frank Reich, because he said, we trust in Bryce Young and he's saving face. It could be that it could be that Frank Reich literally chose Bryce Young and Tepper was angry that Bryce Young internally is not doing well, and seeing CJ Stroud, he might be frustrated on that.
Mm-hmm.
Outwardly, he says this, that he has full confidence. But internally, I bet you as an owner, seeing how CJ Stroud's doing well and seeing how Bryce is not doing well, and for CJ Stroud to do well for a team that
Yes.
was supposed to be trash,
Like
literally trash of a team this
take
upcoming year, people were literally saying, "Oh, the Texans are going to be terrible. They're not. They're going to be underdeveloped. They're having a winning season. Like that's a winning season in the Panthers' eyes of CJ Stroud literally breaking records. So
I
that
mean,
being said,
honestly, I'm gonna say, sorry to interrupt.
you're
I'll say
good.
this as a little hot take, but I think if they make the playoffs and Stroud looks good, I think right now he's the MVP.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he's the MVP of like the league. Yeah, I know that's probably never happened for a rookie. I'm not sure. I don't think it has, but I don't see how you don't give it to him. Anyways, sorry. Moving on from that.
no, I think no, I think CJ Stroud should be in contention. I think he right now, in my eyes, he has done really well. Mahomes has been iffy. Jalen Hurts. I know. Okay. And here's another thing. Maybe I don't like the Eagles. I don't know. But Jalen Hurts,
Maybe.
it kind of miffed me because I was like, I saw this post literally about how Jalen Hurts is clutch and stuff like that. I was like, and a comment popped up and said, so Jalen Hurts kicked a 60-yard field goal to tie the game up. And
Yeah,
and don't get me
stop.
wrong. Don't get me wrong.
In the
And
rain?
Jalen Hurts, yeah, he was good in getting a rushing touchdown at the end and sealed the
Yeah, it was
game.
good.
It was good, but MVP was to that kicker. Literally, it was this crazy rain. The environment was terrible. Like you can't say nah, the kicker wasn't like Jalen Hurts is better than the kicker. No, the kicker clinched it.
Yeah, literally he could have done any bro could have slipped on his way to run like do the kick. It
Yeah.
was raining that bad. Like it was really bad.
But
And he still made it. That's crazy.
but for CJ Stroud, I think he has done well as not just as a rookie, but overall the season wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think right now I would put him as number one as MVP
Mm-hmm.
in contention right now. And he has shown off Tank Dell. Tank Dell is popping off. but that's also because he has a good quarterback,
Yeah, true.
So
Yeah. I mean, I
that's
agree.
not too crazy of a hot take.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about this whole situation. Let us know who you think the MVP is, and also what you think of this whole Tepper conference. If you have a minute, I mean, it didn't last long, so really, it's like a 13-minute video. It's honestly really entertaining in a way because it's entertaining, and also then by the end, you feel like you wasted your time. You're like, I got nothing out of this. But yeah, let us know what you guys think, definitely. Um, But yeah, I think that's all we got for today. So thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time for more content. We got more stuff coming, more NFL. It's gonna be fun. I mean, look, we don't know what's gonna happen with this season. It feels like every week there's just something crazy going on.
Oh, I
But
can't
true,
wait.
you
I
can't
cannot
wait.
wait. Oh, I
I
can't wait. I hope it's the Panthers again.
I feel like you might be onto something. But thanks for listening, everybody. Tune back in next week for more content. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter at LaunchCodesFB, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at LaunchCodesFootball. I'm Chris W,
I'm Chris P.
and we'll see you next time.